Hello, my name is the Cookie Man, and welcome to a new series on the channel where I will be going over every concept ship for Star Citizen, reviewing its stats, its design intentions, and then speculating what I think that ship will be like when it does eventually release into the game. Today we'll be looking at a personal favorite of mine, the RSI Orion. Announced in February 2015, the Orion is one of the oldest concept ships in Star Citizen. Alongside its original announcement, CIG revealed their design documents for the mining gameplay loop. However, in 2017 it was revealed that the ship had more than doubled in its intended size so that it could properly fit what was needed for the interior. This was one of many cases from the time where CIG was unveiling ship concepts without fully knowing how that ship's gameplay would even work, nor the metrics that would be needed to support its design intentions. Since its upscaling in 2017, the Orion has not seen any development work, or at least not that we know of, and has only really been mentioned in brief snippets. There is no telling when we'll hear about the Orion next, but when it does, I highly doubt its final design will be the same as what was originally unveiled all those years ago in 2015. In terms of the size of the Orion, there are a variety of different sizes listed on various websites. The official page for the Orion seems to have not been changed since 2015, so the length is still listed at 170 meters, despite the intention of more than doubling the size as I mentioned a moment ago. On the StarJump Fleet Viewer website, the Orion is shown as being 341 meters in length, a little more than double the original. At 341 meters, the RSI Orion is 99 meters longer than the largest flyable ship currently in the game, the Aegis Idris. For further comparison, it is longer than two RSI Polarises put end to end, with a further 9 meters still to spare. All in all, in terms of all currently player-ownable ships, the RSI Orion stands as the third largest behind the Javelin and the Hull E. In terms of its size, the RSI Orion will be a behemoth of industry, profit potential, and the ultimate workhorse in the verse. In terms of the internal components and schematics, the Orion has a large radar, medium computer, 2 capital power plants, 4 large coolers, and 3 large shield generators. Now, these component numbers are all very outdated at this point, and I feel that they will depend a lot on the direction CIG goes with the reconcept of this ship, but overall, I believe the Orion will end up having some of, if not the largest power plant and coolers, a decent sized radar and computer, but will be more mid-range with its shield generators. For weaponry, the Orion has 2 turrets, each with dual size 5 weapons. While these turrets will be decently hefty, they are currently the only weapons the ship has. The ship is listed to have 384 SCU in cargo space, though I think this will increase in the future, but I'll explain that further on in the video. The original Orion design features a kind of crusher at the front meant to basically eat the rocks as you pull them in with the tractor beams. But personally I think that this will need to be canned, as having the player pull rocks towards the ship and then crushing these rocks introduce a whole host of complications in regards to physics, along with the difficulty for servers this would undoubtedly introduce. On top of this, the mining lasers are on telescopic arms, which I feel is again an outdated idea of how mining would work. So what I believe should be done with the Orion is to do away with these telescopic arms and rock grinders and the idea of tractoring the rocks all around you towards you. But instead I would prefer to see a more bespoke, extremely large laser replace the rock crushers in the front, akin to the laser we kind of see in the Hathor location. I think this laser would be a better continuation of the mining gameplay loop, presenting players with mining extremely large asteroids with massive amounts of resources. Then, once the asteroid is broken down, the mining drones can deploy and mine the smaller pieces, speeding up the process of collecting all the resources and allowing the Orion itself to focus on the rocks that only it can break. For the rotating cargo refining spindles, I feel that it is very much just a rule of cool design for them to rotate. For the cargo spindles, I think that they should just be external like that of the Hull C, possibly allowing for more cargo space, with a smaller cargo hold within the ship as well. As for why I don't think the refinery spindles should rotate, I have 2 reasons. The first reason that it just introduces further complications for the ship team and the ship's design. As an Orion owner myself, I cannot deny that it'd be cool to have them rotate, but I would also prefer that it didn't if it means that the ship is delivered sooner and with less bugs. The second reason is that I think it doesn't make any sense for it to need to spin. In a zero-G environment, spinning the ore is not gonna do anything like a concrete mixer might do in the real world. It's not gonna tumble the ore as it would be, because it's all gonna be pinned up against the inner walls by the g-forces of the rotation itself. And if spinning is an important part of refining, why hasn't that influenced any of the other ships with refining gameplay? Like the Expanse, we don't see any rotating spindles on that kind of ship, so why should it be here on the Orion? Maybe they'll give us an explanation in the future, but personally I think it's just a little bit unnecessary. Now, this is probably reading too deep into it, but I think it would be awesome if they do deliver the rotating spindles, but it's just, again, not entirely necessary. So if they can eliminate that and find a better solution, I think it would also not only expedite the ship in terms of releasing sooner, but also just eliminate the chances of bugs that these rotating spindles would almost certainly introduce. In terms of what I hope to see with the Orion, my opinions will most definitely be biased, but as the endgame mining ship, I feel that the Orion is in dire need of buffs throughout most of its design. Personally, I would like to see a small hangar for a Drake Golem or a Misk Prospector, as I feel that a ship of this size deserves to have the capability to either expand its mining capabilities or defend itself with a fighter like the Gladius. Furthermore, the Orion's inability to land planet-side means that it will often be used more like a space station, sitting in an asteroid field, rather than jumping all over the place. Having a hangar allows for shuttling crew on and off the ship, along with expanding its capabilities just a bit more. I would also like to see a substantial amount of PDCs added to the ship. Obviously, I don't want the Orion to be used as a combat ship, however, I think with how combat is evolving in Star Citizen, the two dual size 5 turrets on their own would be woefully inadequate in defending the ship, and so by adding a bunch of PDCs, along with the hangar I mentioned, the ship would be able to survive mining expeditions deep in Pyro and Nyx, should someone want to venture in that direction. They could also add a few smaller turrets, maybe with size 2 weapons, but again, I understand that the ship, if it has any combat capabilities, they should be strictly defensive. Allowing it to carry a Gladius, I don't think would make it, become a pocket carrier or anything, considering how large the ship is and how likely slow it will be. So I think having a Gladius is justified, as it doesn't really increase the offensive capability too much to justify it being used as a combat ship. And PDCs obviously are strictly going to be for defense, basically. So I think that doesn't take much justification to add. But adding much more turrets to the ship, I feel, would possibly venture into the direction of becoming too combat capable. So I think PDCs are the good direction to go to ensure that it doesn't become too powerful for what the ship should be used for. All in all, the RSI Orion will be an incredibly impactful and useful ship once it eventually arrives into the game properly. As the endgame mining ship, I expect it will be a must-have for any org that will have a high demand for materials and would prefer to source these materials on their own. Whether you want to wait and craft the ship in-game, save up UEC and buy one in-game, or support the project and buy it outright, I think the Orion is going to be one of the best ships in the game when it releases. And while that might be personal bias talking, I think the profit this ship will make will dispel any doubts about that. Alright, that's it for this video. I'm really excited to continue this series with other ships in the future and hope you are excited as well. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the verse.